You are listening to the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast, where you discover management insights and strategies for your successful dental practice. There are also interviews with key people in the industry who have advice and services to help you and your team achieve great success. Welcome to this episode of the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast. And in this episode, I wanted just to share the general excitement I think we all feel at the start of a brand new year. When any year comes to a close, we are looking forward to the time out. We're looking forward to just resting for a period of time. But then as January 1 approaches, we start to get, if you're like me, a little excited about a fresh start. There's something magical about the start of a new year. You might agree with me. It's like we get this bit of a permission, if you like, to hit the reset button, to look at things with fresh eyes and to ask ourselves, what if I did something differently this coming year of 2026 than what I did in 2025? What different outcomes would I hope to achieve? And that's one of the keys, isn't it? Is to recognize that if we keep doing the same thing again, expecting different results, that is the definition of insanity. That what can I do in this coming year, taking the good bits out of the way I approached last year, but adding in new, more powerful ways of doing things this coming year so we can achieve greater levels of success, both personally and in personal life as well. So today, I do want to challenge you to take a bit of a fresh look at 5 key areas in your dental practice. These aren't new concepts, but I am going to ask you just to approach them from possibly a different angle than what you have in the past. And if you do commit to doing these few things that I'm going to speak about, allow yourself to wonder, I wonder where I'll be this time next year. I mean, today is the 2nd of January, 2026, and in no time at all, it's going to be the 2nd of January, 2027. And when you look back over your previous year of this year, 2026, are you going to be really satisfied that you gave it the best slog that you could? That possibly, just by thinking about things a little bit differently, it's going to change your experience and management of those situations and achieve possibly better outcomes than if you hadn't. So let's have a think about what's going to make a good difference for this year, 2026. A couple of things that have been rolling around in my tiny brain over this Christmas period when we do get this chance to reflect and contemplate. And the very first thing I want to mention is staffing. In essence, staffing and hiring. And gosh, hasn't it been a bad year on top of a bad year on top of a bad year when it comes to having really great candidates turning up to our interviews for positions for new hires. And it's certainly not just dental, as we know. It goes across many professions and industries over the last number of years. And it does seem to be the number one thing, being understaffed. Trying to find the right staff, trying to get the team, a great team together and get them to stay loyal. It does seem to be the biggest issue that practices complain about over the last few years. And as I was having a shower this morning, I did think to myself, gosh, because I do like to bring situations back to a family home life to gain a different perspective or pop things in a better context to understand them better, but also to sporting teams as well. When we're talking about a team, we are talking about a collection of, in essence, different human beings, weirdos, if you like. That's what Charles Covess, my husband, says, that we're all weirdos. You know, none of us have had the same levels of experience, the same realities, the same perceptions, all the things. And we bring all of who we are to wherever we work. And when we think about it from that perspective, when we do get a great team together, it can't just happen by accident. It really is quite intentional. And when we relate it back to a sporting team, and I'm going to use AFL, Australian Football League, as an example, if an AFL sporting club, I personally follow Hawthorn, if Hawthorn said, we're just going to start recruiting team members into our Hawthorn Football Club, regardless of what their strengths are, regardless of what they value, regardless of what their levels of experience have been, we just need people in that team. We just need to make out a team of 18 players. And when you consider that, if that was the way that Hawthorn Football Club recruited their team members, it would be pretty chaotic. You'd have a whole bunch of people, varying degrees of experience, of wisdom about the game, of particular clinical, if you like, skills to complete their positions within that football team. It would be chaotic, and you wouldn't expect them to be able to be a great team of high performers because they weren't recruited in that fashion. When we recruit for our dental teams as just needing a body in that chair, whether it be the dental assistant chair, the associate chair, the hygienist or oral health therapist chair, the receptionist chair, whatever chair we're talking about, if we're just recruiting to get a body in there, it too can become really chaotic. And the problems with that is that the problems that are generated from that kind of recruitment are ongoing and don't fix themselves. And we get to that stage then where we just got to think about this differently. And yes, we do need bodies for each of these roles. But in order to get along operationally day to day until we find the right person, there are other options out there for us to have locum dentists, to have temp nurses, to have temp receptionists, people from agencies, casual workers, until we find the right fit. Because we're looking at this long term. We want our dental practices to be strong and viable in the long term. And one of the key systems that need to be established and maintained is how we put our teams together. Are they a group of professional people who are reliable, dependable, have great compassion for our patients, know how to get along with each other as team members, are on that constant and never-ending improvement journey so they don't mind doing things differently if it's for the greater good of the practice? Always looking for ways to improve, not just themselves, not just as a team, but a business as a whole. So if you are in that headspace, so if you are one of those many dental practices that are entering into 2026, recognizing the need to hire more people, or you've got people that aren't a good fit that you'll need to transition out of the practice so you can hire the better people, don't come at this as an issue in the same mindset that you did in the past. Think about it in a context that helps you truly realize how important it is to get the right fit. Come up with systems of staffing the premises until you get that right fit of people. And there are certainly more resourceful ways of recruiting than just the same old that you've done in the past as well. And so approach it with the thought that you are a football team, you're a sporting team. Maybe you are a calisthenics team that is trying to put the right people in the mix when you start looking at the Olympics, that you're going to be competing in the Olympics. Help yourself recognize what skills, what characteristics do we need in the people that we're filling into these roles, and then just keep searching until you find them. And there are a lot of people out there that say you just can't find them. They're not out there nowadays. And I call bullshit on that, because number one, when you look at other dental practices that have done this well, they've got great team members that have been loyal for years and years and years. And so there is evidence right in front of our faces that there are people out there that work that way. There are right fit people out there, and you can also attract them into your environment as well. The other reason why I call bullshit on that is because you just might have been tainted. When we go down the path of recruiting just to fill spaces, we are attracting a certain type of person. They may not be suited to dental. They may not be suited to working in a team. They may be temporary in the fact that they're still searching for what they want to do. And because you're attracting those kind of transient type of people into the roles, that's all you're exposed to. That becomes your reality. And when that becomes your reality, if it's not working for you, you become tainted. It's just like if you're out there on the dating scene trying to find a good partner, and you're out there looking on Tinder and all the applications, and you're attracting just kind of anybody that I want to share my life with. I just want a person in my life. And then you get a whole bunch of people that aren't suitable because they don't share your values, they don't share your hopes and dreams, they don't want the kind of life that you want to be, that you want as well. And so then you end up thinking, oh, there's just no good people out there. There's no good fish in the ocean anymore. It's because of who you're attracting. And when you are attracting great people, that's when you start to see that they're out there. But when you're recognizing who you want to attract into the roles of your dental practice, getting into their mindset, what kind of ad do they want to read? What kind of employment experience, onboarding experience are they going to be expecting? How can I fulfill my end of the bargain and do this as well as I possibly can? That's when you'll start seeing the other people that are out there and become more aspirational of who you can attract in your dental practice. So that's my first hint, is to approach your employment issues from a different perspective to be able to achieve different results in the coming year of 2026. The second topic is systems. I am reading a lot about systems of late because one of my mentors, Ashkan Tashfir, has got his new book out, Sustainabilism, and it's a huge book and I am slowly making my way through it. But it is really helping me, along with some work I'm doing with one of my key clients as well, of just having systems isn't good enough. We need to have sustainable systems. And one of the lessons I'm learning from this experience with this client and from reading this book about sustainability and sustainable systems is the need, the opportunity to reassess our current systems that we've got that really help drive operational success from day to day and have a fresh look, as I say, fresh eyes on these systems and say, is there room for improvement? Is there room for evolution? Now, the systems that we had for our own lives when we were in our teens to when we were in our early 20s, early 30s, early 40s, early 80s, they're going to evolve. They must evolve because we evolve as human beings, but our practices are the same. Patient needs and expectations change over time. Staffing needs and expectations change over time. The kind of leader we are of our dental practices changes over time because we're all in this space of evolution. And so when we, for example, approach a new client, one of our questions is, what are your systems for recalls, incomplete treatment, reactivation of inactive patients, new patient experience, all the clinical aspects that are key within your practice? We ask about the systems that you've got in place. And it is one thing to say, great, you've got systems for these things. These things you don't have systems for, so we can introduce systems for there as well. But let's reassess the systems that we've got in place. Are they still the best systems that they could be for those particular aspects of our practice? Have they got a need to evolve? Is your recall strategy the same as it was 10 years ago? If it was, it might still be relevant, but it might need updating as well. And so this is what I'm suggesting for this year of 2026. Concentrate on one system every month. At your monthly team meeting, hopefully you have those, at your monthly team meeting, say, okay, for the coming month, let's concentrate on a new system for the whole month, assess where we're at with it, identify how we're going to track. If we make any changes, does it improve the outcomes of that system? And let's all mindfully move through the month with our reminders about, remember, we're focusing on this every day during our morning huddles. This is our system that we're focusing on this month. We must put in place that support system of reminding our team members, remember to focus on this, in order for them to remember to focus on this. And just focus on one system every month and just see by the end of the month, after all of our reminders throughout the month, are there opportunities for improvement of those systems? Because this is the thing, our systems are alive. They are breathing things that require changing as our team changes over and our patients' needs change as well. And so let us make sure that by the end of 2026, we've really had a good look at the key big systems that drive our operational success, drive our patient satisfaction, drive our team satisfaction, drive you as a practice owner, your satisfaction in the dental practice as well. You may have many more than 12 systems, but there are likely 12 big ones that really do drive your success. So some examples are, as I said before, your recall strategy. How do you recall your patients? What kind of success are you achieving with that right now? And as a group, throw around some ideas on how you can improve it, make adjustments to it, and then track the success of it then. Have you managed to identify areas that once changed, you get greater levels of success from it? So recalls is one. Do the same for your treatment case presentation. It's such an interesting exercise when we go into dental teams to get each of the practitioners to display how they have that conversation with patients when they are suggesting particular treatment plans to them. Everyone does it differently. Everyone communicates in a vastly different way, and everyone gets different results. So let's have a look at what can we do with our case presentation. What key areas can we make sure we're doing really well collectively as a whole, such as, are we all building rapport really effectively? Do patients actually leave understanding what's going on in their mouth, their condition, and the solutions that are provided to them? How well are these patients supported once they leave that treatment room and the influence of the dentist? Are we able to then rely on the treatment coordinator, the receptionist, the whoever else is answering the phone should that patient ever call, that we have got effective enough processes in place, such as treatment notes and charting, etc., that anyone will be able to facilitate that patient should they have any questions during their patient experience with us? So let's have a look at our case presentation. Let's have a look at our appointment scheduling. Have we got a lot of downtime? Are we all exhausted because the mornings are packed full of big clinical stuff, and then the afternoons we need to have a bit of a breather, but we're exhausted by the end of the day because one day we've got cram prep after cram prep after cram prep, and then the next day all we've got is recalls all day. So let's have a look at our systems around appointment scheduling. How about how we welcome in new patients, our intake and onboarding of new patients? What's that experience like? What about our confirmation of appointments process? What about reactivating our inactive patients? What's your system for that? Does it need to evolve? How about what we were talking about before, our onboarding of new staff members to make sure they're trained up as quickly as possible and that they are becoming part of our team as quickly as possible. They feel welcome and part of a fully functional, wonderful team. So what's our process for that? Quite often onboarding can be very haphazard. We've hired them now. Who's free to train them in how to use the computer, how to use this software, how we do the recall system? How about the financial arrangements that you have, such as payment plans you offer to patients? Cost of living is an issue for a lot of patients. Have you looked at the payment plans you offer, and are they appropriate for the pressures, the financial pressures your patients are currently moving through? Do we need to add another option out there? How about referral management? How often are we asking great patients to refer their friends and family? And do we reward them? How do we incentivize them? How do we make sure that that is a living, breathing system within our practice? That really helps for long-term viability. Emergency dental appointment times. Emergencies squeezed into a schedule can either be done very effectively or very poorly, where we're always running late. The minute there's a new patient put in, the whole clinical team roll their eyes and say to the receptionist, "What are you doing to us?" So what is our management as a dental practice, as a health service? These are always going to happen, of adding emergency patients into the schedule. We need to be able to see emergencies. When there are regular patients, they expect and deserve that kind of management. And when they're new patients, that's a wonderful way of converting a patient who might be seeing some other practice that can't fit them into their schedule today to actually convert 100% over to us. And obviously, it's a way of getting people out of trauma, out of urgency. How about our daily huddles and team meetings? If we're going to look at a new system every month to see if there's any space for refinement and gaining greater outcomes, then providing support mechanisms to make sure that we're doing this well need to be in place. Daily huddles are perfect. Team meetings are perfect. How did we go last year with our team meetings and our daily huddles? Do we need to modify, introduce, be more committed to these in the year 2026 that we have got better alignment of our team members behind the things that are important? And the 12th suggestion is your clinical handovers and notes. So we were mentioning before around case presentation, and something that's linked directly with case presentation is, are we managing our case presentation and communication with patients in such a way that if they had any questions about anything, they must be referred back to the dentist who may not be in on that day? Or are our clinical handovers, are our notes, is our charting so effective that any other team member can be helpful to a client who's making an inquiry in terms of making decisions around their treatment plan? You may have a different series of 12 systems that you'd like to look at in 2026. You may choose as a group which one is going to be the focus of attention for the coming month. It's a really terrific idea because sometimes just having a system is not good enough. We need to make sure that that system is evolving with the changing needs of our environment. You think about the systems that you had when you had children and they were little. They were 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. You think about your systems that you had around laundry, around feeding the children, and then around education and skills development and how that changes when they go into primary school, into high school, and then they become far more independent themselves. Systems change within our family units. Systems change within our dental practices. Third section I want to talk about is your leadership. If you're a dental practice manager, coordinator, practice owner, I want to ask you, what have you learned over 2025 that's going to change the way you lead people in 2026? If your answer is nothing, then maybe, just maybe, you're not seeing your leadership as one of those skills that requires your continual attention. So you think about it. If you're a practitioner, I imagine you're constantly refining your clinical skills, learning new ways of doing things, new products, new techniques. You go to conferences, you do your CPD hours, you read the journals, you read about all of these new ways of doing things, speak to all the dental reps, because you see your clinical skills as something that's constantly evolving, constantly getting better, always opportunity for improvement. And I suggest that your leadership is exactly the same. And with managers, your management of people is exactly the same. It is a skill that requires constant development. And so how can we start to develop these skills, see this leadership skill as something that is always evolving? Where do we start? And I suggest a great thing to do in the month of January is to create a simple 3-question survey that you send out to your team members. They can respond anonymously so you get more authentic feedback. And those 3 questions are posed in a way that give you a great starting point of how to improve this leadership skill or this management skill in the year 2026. Those 3 questions are, number 1, what do I do that you think is helpful and therefore I should continue doing it? Question number 2 is, what do I do that is unhelpful that I would get far better results if I changed my approach? And question number 3 is, what's the top issue that's preventing the practice, whether that's the team, the business, or our patient experience that we're delivering, that is stopping us from being more successful? What's the biggest issue in your eyes? And I tell you, I've done enough staff surveys for dental practices where the top issue is quite often something that the leader has had no idea about. Because as we know, we only get to hear this feedback if we ask the question and also provide the environment that our team members feel very free to be frank and open and honest. A lot of people, if they're asked on the spot without any preparation, team members will naturally, like we all do, we will naturally just give the polite answer. Unless we're really peed off about something, we normally give the polite answer. No, everything's fine, it's good. Not many people like that kind of confrontation, the potentially confrontational conversation when they're saying, actually, you know what you're doing really wrong? It's creating really a lot of bad ill will. So we need to create the environment for it too, and quite often we don't do that. So they are the 3 top questions. What do I do that's helpful that I should continue? What do I do that's unhelpful that I should change? And what's the top issue preventing us from being successful in this practice? And those 3 questions, the answers to those will give you a wonderful starting point to start seeing this leadership management skill as something to evolve and grow and get better at over time. Reading the responses can be a bit stressful and tense, but that's okay. That's part of evolving as a human being, that we get to evolve how we manage negative feedback, that it's not going to kill us. It's only there to make us feel better. And I promise you, after putting myself in a position years ago when I had my dental practice, in the position of getting them to share their raw, unfiltered feedback, it became so much easier the more often I did it. The hardest experience that we have with it is the very first time. After that, it becomes super easy. So just get on that journey. The 4th topic to take a fresh look at in your dental practice in the year of 2026 is the patient experience. And as we know, patients are the reason why we exist. And if we deliver poor patient experiences, we are going to struggle to survive as a dental practice. If we deliver terrific patient experiences, we'll find it far easier to thrive. And so let's find out what's going on for our patients. It's definitely one of those situations where we're so in the weeds of it all, we don't often see what those patients are, precious, precious patients, what they're experiencing and where we could actually improve. We've got a lot of assumptions at play when we are designing our patient experience, and I think that has a role to play, a very effective role to play, because of the fact we're all consumers. If you gathered your whole team together and said, let's have a look at how we provide, what kind of experience we provide our patients and what we can do to improve that, we'll get a whole bunch of ideas from our existing team members that will be worthwhile, because we're all consumers. We understand what professionalism feels like, looks like, experiences like, and the kind of things that we can do as a group to make it even more special for our wonderful patients. That is one aspect of it. And I don't want to discredit that. Always go with the assumptions of the team, but add into the mix what the patient's actual feedback is. And I don't necessarily want all the patient's feedback. If we want to have a long-term viable practice, we should be trying to attract patients that want to develop a long-term viable relationship with us. So we see all of our patients. We see everyone, whether they're transient, loyal, or perpetual patients. We see everybody. However, when we are designing the patient experience, the one experience that we want to get right is the one that's really going to serve the needs of our regular returning loyal patients. They're the ones that really build strong long-term viability. So whenever we ask dental team members, practitioners and assistants and receptionists about, give us your 5 top patients that you love seeing, you'll always come up with them. If you've worked at that practice long enough, everyone will find it very easy to say, oh, here's the top 5, the top 10, the top 15 patients that we really enjoy seeing, that they've got a strong, great relationship with us, that we want to see more of, this kind of patient. Great. Get those patients in a list. Send them a very simple 3-question survey, just like we did with the staff and our leadership. Let's send these top patients 3 questions, the answers to which will really help us identify where there are assumptions around what patients want and experience at our practice is on the money. Question number 1, what do we do that's great? Their answers might be, you always run on time. You got great payment plans. You're a preferred provider. Not that I'm a big fan of practices becoming preferred provider. It has a lot of restrictions around it, but it might be one of the things, if you are a preferred provider practice, that makes you great in your patient's eyes. Could be happy team, consistent team. Second question, what do we do that's not great? You always run late. You're so expensive. Every time I come, I see a different dentist. You're always moving my appointment times around. So question number 1, what do we do that's great? Question number 2, what do we do that's not great? And question number 3, do you have any ideas of what we could be doing that would make your experience with us even better? You could have a coffee machine in the waiting room. You could change the music. It's always too boppy, not relaxing enough. You could have better parking. You could clean the place more. Every time I go to the bathroom, the bin is overflowing. So get into your patients' minds. Ask your great patients, why do you keep coming back to us? What do we do that's annoying to you or reducing your level of excitement about coming to us? And what else could we be doing that would make your experience with us even better? So get that direct feedback from your patients. And getting it done in January, wonderful thing. You can spend the rest of the year with those thoughts and ideas and feedback in your mind. It will help you change the way you do things. So you are in January 2027, reflecting back over the year going, gosh, we made some changes and they all worked. We're better. We've evolved. It's been a great year. The last section that I wanted to focus on is team training. And if you've heard me often enough and for long enough, you'll know that one of the quotes that really drives me as a human being, but also drives the work that we do in terms of team members and practices, is the quote by Archilochus. You do not rise to the level of your expectations, but you fall to the level of your training. You don't rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your training. This is so true. You know, sometimes we do, when talking back about the first area of focus, which was recruitment, we get these team members together and then we become frustrated when they're not achieving the level of expectation that we have in our minds. But have we created the environment, supplied the support mechanisms, provided the team training, the knowledge and awareness, the time to develop these skills, that they're actually capable of delivering that kind of performance? Quite often, no. You have this expectation. What have you done to make sure that it's reasonable to expect that? Team training, skills development, mastery, always learning something new. Whenever you look at feedback in Facebook forums, etc., about what makes you excited about staying loyal to the practice that you're working at, it's always high on the agenda. A lot of people love getting better. It's one of our core drivers, is to become masterful at what we do. And so provide the opportunity for that. It's one of the most challenging issues for dental practices to find the time to train their dental team members because it's so costly. Number one, we'll be able to see fewer patients because we're closing off the books to do team training. Then we have to pay for the training itself. Then we lose all the funds that we would have made, all the production that we would have made had we continued seeing those patients. And then when we do team training, sometimes it doesn't actually affect their ultimate actions and behaviours, and so it's worthless anyway. Having as one of the core values of your dental practice being growth will help impact the way you hire, because you only want to be hiring people that want to grow, want to change, want to evolve, want to get better. It creates the environment and mindset of your existing team members. This is a general expectation here that we are a group of people that want to grow. And if you want to keep doing the same thing in the same way, regardless of the outcomes that we generate over and over again for years and years and years, then this may not be the place for you. We want ideas, we want innovation, we want creative thought on how we can improve individually, as a team, in the way we deliver these services to patients. The challenge around team training is the whole reason we developed the Academy. The Academy, which has over 100 short training videos designed to be delivered as a lunch and learn during people's lunch breaks. To get over this challenge of it's costly to do team training. The Academy is only $70 a month. And there's no time. You don't have to take any time out of the appointment book. You just pay your team members for their lunch break once a week, once a fortnight, once a month. Select a training video. They all do it as a team. Watch the video in the first half of lunch. Second half of lunch is talking about how we're going to implement this as a team. And you are on that constant and never-ending improvement journey as a dental practice, every team member that you have. Have the team select which training videos they watch. Have them take charge of this, have full autonomy over this. We love having autonomy over our own lives and actions. We hate being told what to do, so hand it to them as a project for the year. Can you imagine if you devoted one lunchtime every fortnight to improving the way team members are communicating with patients, engaging them, creating a great environment for them, how they function as a team, communicate as team members, doing things for each other, your leadership evolving over this year as well. Can you imagine what your practice would look like in terms of performance and outcomes if they were getting consistent, frequent team training throughout the year? Amazing results can be achieved. It not only improves the level of performance, but it will improve the level of loyalty of your team members because they feel like they're achieving progress working at your practice. So it really does have this beautiful knock-on effect. The patient experience is consistently improving all the time. So you've got more and more satisfaction within your patients as time goes on. They're talking more about your practice because they're seeing the changes, feeling the changes, sensing the changes going on. Your leadership is constantly evolving. Your team members are all upskilling consistently. It can really make 2026 a year of development, a year of progress. And remember what Tony Robbins says, human beings are at their happiest when they feel they are progressing. So that's my challenge to you for the coming year. Number one is to have a different mindset around your staffing. Pretend you're staffing, you're recruiting for a sporting team to help you get your mind around why it's so important to recruit the right people. Focus on the top 12 systems of your practice throughout the year of 2026 and make sure they are still current and achieving the kind of outcomes that you want. Leadership, see it as one of the skills, just like your clinical skills, that requires constant never-ending improvement, and make it the year of that. Your patient experience that you're delivering to your valuable source of your production, source of your viability, make sure we're on par with that. Make sure we're achieving great success with that. And team training. So raise the bar for 2026. Make it an aspirational year where you're really putting steps in place to make sure you're achieving great progress. Because you know what? A year from now, you wish you started today. I am excited by what this year holds for you and your practice, for me and Ameena at Dental Business Mastery. Always reach out if you require any level of conversational support around this. But here's to a terrific, powerful year of progress for the year of 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. If you enjoyed this podcast, then I encourage you to head over to Ameena and my website, dentalbusinessmastery.com.au. You will find all the information that you need if you would like to gain our assistance in helping you and your team achieve great success. If you would like to find out more, you can also email us directly at info@dentalbusinessmastery.com.au. Thanks so much for listening.